Hi, 6th graders. We're on lesson 6-2, which is rates. So go to your next page in your notebook and write this on the top. The learning target is I can understand what a rate is, and also I can determine unit rates. So a rate, a word that you want to write in your notebook, a vocabulary word, is a ratio that compares two quantities with different kinds of units. So remember, ratios had the same units. They might have had different items, but same units. Now a rate is comparing two different quantities with different units. A unit rate is when a rate is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1. So how do we find a unit rate? We write the information as a fraction, just like we did with a ratio. We simplify by dividing both the numerator and denominator by the denominator, so we get to 1, and then we compare. So let's look at this example. Desiree earns $280 in 40 hours. Find a rate that describes her pay per hour. What is her hourly pay rate? So $280 in 40 hours. So 280 is our first item, so that's our numerator, and then 40 is our second item, so that's our denominator. So here's our ratio, $280 in 40 hours. Now we want to find her rate. Okay, this is also a rate, but now we want to find the unit rate, which is per hour. So 280 divided, so we simplify by dividing both numerator and denominator by the denominator. So we would take 280, divide it by 40, and we get 7. 40 divided by 40 is 1. So our unit rate is 7, this is dollars, and this is hours. So $7 in 1 hour. So her hourly pay rate then, we would write as $7 per, so this line, this back angled backslash kind of, $7 per, this line means per hour. That is a unit rate. We're finding out what something costs or what something is for 1 unit, or whatever the unit is. The prices of 3 different bags of dog food are given in the table. Which size bag has the lowest price per pound? So now what we need to do is we need to make a rate or a ratio for each of the bag sizes and figure out the unit rate for each one. So for the 40-pound bag, well, the rate is $49 for 40 ounces. Sorry, pounds. Now we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 40. So we take 49 and we divide it by 40. And we get 1 point, because we're talking about money, I'm going to round it to the nearest hundredth. So 1.23 or $1.23 for 1 pound. Then we have 23.44 for 20 pounds. So we take 23.44, we divide it by 20, and we get $1.17. So when a lot of unit rates and rates usually deal with money, not all the time, but a lot of them do. So we always want to round it to the nearest hundredth, which is the second spot after the decimal, because cents go to hundredths. So we always want to stop at our hundredths. Even if it doesn't tell you to, you want to go out 2 places. So don't round it to the tenth, always round it to the hundredth. So $1.17 for 1 pound. And then we have $9.88 for the 8-pound bag. So 9.88 divided by 8 is 1.24. So on my calculator it came up as 1.235, but I'm rounding it to this place right here. So that means I go to my next place, which is my thousandths, and because it's a 5, it tells me that I go up. I don't know why I did a plus. I should have done an arrow to go up for my round up in my hundredths. So $1.24. And the reason that I was very careful and cautious about that, because that would have changed my answer for my price up there. So I have $1.23 per pound, $1.17 per pound, and $1.24 per pound. So this tells me that this bag is the best deal because it's the lowest price per pound, because $1.17 is the lowest. Alright, find the unit price if it costs $2 for 8 juice boxes. Round to the nearest cent if necessary. So we want to know, so we have $2. So sometimes it's hard to figure out which, in word problems, it's not always the first number that's going to be on the top. So usually it is, but you have to think, well, we're doing money per juice box. We want to find the unit price. So how much it is for one juice box. So that's how I determine which goes on the bottom. So it's $2 for 8 juice boxes. And I know that I divide everything by 8. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. So I know that my denominator in my new fraction, oops, I don't want that there. My denominator in my new fraction is always going to be 1. So we can write it always and have it 1. And then 2/8, so I know that 2/8 is the same as 1/4. And 1/4 is 0.25. So this tells me that it is 25 cents per juice box. I'm just going to write JB so you don't have to sit and watch me write out all of the words juice box. So this tells me that it's 25 cents per juice box. Alright, find the unit rate for 220 miles on 8 gallons. So if I'm driving 220 miles and I have 8 and I used 8 gallons, I want to know how many miles per gallon. So it's going to be 220 miles. It's a good habit to write out the units after it. I didn't do it on the slide before. But 220 miles in 8 gallons. So I want to find the unit rate, which is however many miles for 1 gallon. So 220 divided by 8 is 27.5 miles for 1 gallon. So then we would write it as 27.5 miles per, this would be miles per gallon. Or you might see it as 27.5 miles per gallon. Find the unit rate or the unit price if a 4-pack of mixed fruit sells for $2.12. So this is an example of a word problem where this is actually going to be our numerator and this will be our denominator, because we want the price per pack. So it's $2.12 for a 4-pack we want to know, oh sorry, I said it's per pack. It's $2.12 for 4. We want to know how much it is for 1 piece of fruit. That was a 4-pack, so this would be 1 piece. So we take 2.12 and we divide it by 4 and we get 53 cents. So we would write it as 53 cents per piece of fruit. We'll make it make sense a little bit. Lexi painted 3 faces in 12 minutes at the craft fair. At this rate, how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes? So first we need to know how many minutes does it take for her to paint 1 face. So we want our unit rate, or we need to know the unit is how many minutes per face. So sometimes I need to ask myself, do I need to figure out faces per minute or minutes per face? Well, we can tell that it takes more than a minute to paint a face, so it's not going to be faces per minute. It's going to be 12 minutes per face. Sorry, not per face. For 3 faces. Now we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3 because we divide by our denominator. So 12 divided by 3 we know is 4. So if it's 4 minutes per face, now at this rate, how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes? So 4 minutes times however many faces equals 40 minutes. Well, we know that 4 times 10 equals 40, so x equals 10. So if she can paint 3 faces in 12 minutes, then she can paint 10 faces in 40 minutes. Sherry ran 4 miles in 20 minutes. At this rate, how long will it take her to run 10 miles? I want you to pause me and try to do this problem on your own. So 4 miles in 20 minutes. We want to know how long will it take her to run 10 miles. So it's going to be 20 minutes for 4 miles. Which then is 5 minutes in 1 mile. So 5 minutes per mile. So how long will it take her to run 10 miles? So 5 times 10, because it's 5 minutes, and 10 miles will be, 50. What is going on with my writing? 50 minutes. Okay, I know that this seems like a lot of writing, but it's really not. I want you to pause me and write this table in your notebook, and you can do it really fast. But this number of miles per hour, or these unit rates right here, are really popular rates and things that we're going to be working with a lot. So it's really important that you understand these and you know the rate, the unit rate, the abbreviation, and the name. Miles per hour, miles per gallon, price per pound, and dollars per hour. The 4 most common rates that you'll use in the real world. And now that I've talked, you probably are already halfway done writing down the table. So get that written down. And then make sure you log into NICU and take your 6-2 NICU quiz. Have a super night.